Yeah, hi, good evening to all of you. Am I audible? Please confirm. Am I audible? Okay, yes. Good evening. Yeah, hi, good evening to all of you. So, have you people written answers? Answers likha hai? Vasudev, have you written some answers? What have been your understanding related to previous lecture? Was it better? Hi, Adar, please tell me, did you attempt any question? Do you have any doubts? If you have any doubt, any questions you want me to address, let me know. Otherwise, I will start the session. I will start the discussion. Is there nothing to ask? Okay, then I'm starting the discussion on the questions. Today's agenda is to discuss some of the questions on emotional intelligence first, and second, I will take up the discussion of one or two code-based question. So, how should be your introduction in the code-based question, and what should be the line of reference, the uh, points how to generate in the code-based question? All these things I will be taking. And before that, let us see once more what are the questions that have been asked in the previous year from the topic of emotional intelligence. I'm sharing the screen. Let me know whether is it visible. Yeah. Good evening, Nitish. Nitish, have you written any answer to the questions given? Once again, I'm repeating that emotional intelligence unit is the fourth unit in your entire syllabus. The topics are like first is concept, dimensions, utility in administration and governance, and application. So these are the four things. And emotions are in general perceived as bad. You should take a, a kind of analogy, or I will say a framework you must keep in your mind. That may be very, very helpful. Nitish, could you tell me which answer you have written? Or do you need any assistance in with respect to the answers you have written? Any clarity? Any confusion? Any question you want me that I can discuss for you? Tell me. But take this analogy as a background for your answer in the emotional intelligence unit. See, emotions are emotions are considered as bad, poor, as they may create nepotism. I'm talking with respect to your uh, say administration, governance. Okay, and think about the medieval time. Medieval time. In medieval time, there were king, there were rulers. These all rulers, what they were doing, they were deciding the bureaucracy, the governance based on their whims and fancy. Whims and fancy. They were giving appointment, key positions to the people, those were very close to their heart. Means sir हम हिंदी मीडियम से हैं, आंसर्स राइटिंग में प्रॉब्लम होती है एथिक्स में. Nitish, you message me on my Telegram. I am giving here Telegram ID. I can assist you in that regard. Just I am sharing it. For Hindi medium, I have some candidates. Those are writing good answers. I can share their copy with you, so you can learn better. This is the Telegram ID. You can mention. You can send a message. Okay, so that I can assist you. Okay, let us begin. So in the medieval time, based on Vincent Fancy, they were providing the key positions. So there was emotion of, say, love, emotion of uh, supporting our own people. So it was kind of a spoil system. Then as a counter to this spoil system, because this system was not based on objectivity, objectivity was missing. Objectivity was not there in this system. As objectivity was not there, it was considered that this system is bad. Means emotions are counter to objectivity. It was perceived. Then as a counter to spell system, there was another scholar called Weber. Weber gave his idea of Weberian bureaucracy. Weber gave the idea of Weberian bureaucracy. Give me a minute. I'm resuming it. Okay. Now I'm resuming again. See, is it okay? Is it visible? So in the Weberian bureaucracy, Weber says in our bureaucracy, it must be value free. The bureaucracy must be value free. There should be no role of emotions, no role of value, and the aim was to bring objectivity. Objectivity in a manner like whoever will be in the helm of affair. Either A is here, either or B is here, or someone else C is there. Means rules will become end in itself. Whatever the rule will say, you will be doing that. There is no personal discretion. There is no personal choice, no personal conscience. There is nothing. Means today, this is the prime minister. Today, another one will be the prime minister. But the rules, regulation, and the outcome for the people will be same. So Bavarian bureaucracy was value free and emotion free. So in that bureaucracy, you will understand there was objectivity, there was predictability, there was a rule by law. Means whatever rule will say, that thing will happen. So rule by law was there. Means all the things, like there was hierarchy, strict adherence to hierarchy, there was accountability. All these things will be there because there are no emotions at all. So Bavarian bureaucracy tried to solve all the problems related to spoil system. Is it clear? Then, because it was trying to solve the problem of spoil system, unfortunately, there were problems related to Bavarian bureaucracy also. For example, they were so much adhered to rules, so much engrossed with rules that they end up following form. In the last class, we discussed positive minded officer, negative minded officer, focus on the form versus substance. focus on the core or periphery. They were more focusing on periphery. They were not thinking about the people. They were just treating the people as a means, that they are just means to ensure accomplishment of the implementation of the rules. Is it making sense? So in that manner, Weberian bureaucracy was not thinking for last mile delivery, not thinking about Antyodaya, in not thinking about making solving the problems of the people. They were more engrossed with objectivity, predictability, rule by law. However, as we got independence in 1947, we adopted the Constitution of India as a living document. That living document requires you to adhere to the ideals of welfare state. Ideals of welfare state, say ideals of DPSP. We see evolution of Article 21. All these things will be possible when you are using the values of the civil services. Values of civil services, like foundational value of civil services, like selflessness, like honesty, like accountability, like leadership, like openness, objectivity, integrity. You are following your empathy, your compassion. You have dedication to public service. You have courage of conviction to act in a manner. All these things will be possible when you have values. And do you think you can feel the empathy of a person? You can feel compassionate about a person without emotions. Without emotions, all these things are not possible. So, in order to ensure that you are, so what does it need? See, again, I'm repeating and giving you a story, the storyline or the flow. Like first, we had a spoil system, emotions were there. Then second, there was Bavarian bureaucracy. There were no emotions at all. Then it was antithetical to welfare state. Then we envisaged at third place welfare state ideals, solving the problems of the people. In all these things, there was need of emotional intelligence. Means now you have emotions, but you are using these emotions intelligently. These emotions are used intelligently so that these emotions will work for you, rather than against you. You are achieving, you are employing these emotions to achieve the ideals of welfare state, achieve the ideals of constitutional morality. Is it making sense? Okay, then. So we need emotional intelligence. Daniel Goleman has said, for accomplishing a task, to achieve success in a particular task, we need two things: IQ and EQ. IQ is just 20% of the success, but EQ contributes more than 80% of the success. Is it clear? Now you see, if there is a problem of, uh, if emotions are misguided, you will see this mob lynching, riots, destruction of public property. But if your emotions are guided, you will be demanding your rights, demanding your, uh, say, demands, putting your demands in a peaceful manner, in a form of protest that is not violent. Now you see, they were angry. This person, Anna Hazare, was angry, but he did not resort to violence. He resorted and channelized the emotion for the positive change. Okay, then you see the contrasting figures. One, on the one hand, there is visuals of acid attack, there is destruction of public property, there is mob lynching. On the other hand, you see the Quit India movement, greater cause. There was freedom struggle and freedom was achieved. Malala Yousafzai, you can see. Then you see the Anna Hazare and anti-corruption movement. So it was said anyone can become angry. It is very easy. But to be angry at the right time, with the right person, to the right degree, in the right way is not easy. That is said by Aristotle. So it requires more than intelligence to act intelligently. This more than is emotion and that emotional intelligence. Is it clear? This I have already discussed. Now I am moving towards the questions. See, the first question is, what is emotional intelligence? How can it be developed in people? It means emotional intelligence is not inherent value. Not inherent value. It is not like it you will always inherit that. You can develop that. Emotional intelligence is a kind of skill that you can inculcate over the time. It is not something that you can't develop. Means अगर आप इसके साथ पैदा हुए तभी ऐसा कर पाओगे, ऐसा नहीं है. Then third part of the question says, how does it help an individual in taking ethical decisions? कैसे एक इंडिविजुअल को हेल्प करेगा कि वो इथिकल डिसीजन ले पाए? Do you think how many part of the question? It is just 10 marker. There are 2 pages, one first part, second part, and the third part of the question. For 2-3 lines of introduction, 2-3 lines of conclusion, you are just left with 1.5 page to write 3 things. So 1.5 page means each part will get only half of the page. Half of the page means you have just 40 words to write. Okay, 150 words, 40 words to write. 4 3 are 12 and 15, 15, 20, 20 words for intro conclusion. So what is emotional intelligence? You can write very, very clearly that emotional intelligence is a value wide which we can use emotions in reasoning and reasoning in emotions. This is the very simplistic line, reasoning in emotions and emotions in reasoning. It is a value wide which you can, it is a kind of thing wide which you can, what can be done? You can know your emotions and know the emotions of other, and you can employ these emotions for the success of a particular cause. If you write this much, your 40-50 words will be over. Then how it can be developed and how does it help individual in taking ethical decision? Okay, so let me discuss this aspect, how it can be developed. So if you have to develop the emotional intelligence, it means you are focusing on for the development of all these 5 attributes of the emotional intelligence. If you develop these 5 attributes, in that sense, you will be able to develop the emotional intelligence also. So see, the first attribute is a self-awareness. And if you want to develop the self-awareness, what you have to do? You have to introspect. You have to introspect, give and spend time with yourself. You have to go for meditation. It is antithetical to what UPSC asked one question that in today's time, our self-awareness is technologically sourced. Something like that they asked. In the essay they asked. Nowadays, self-awareness is technologically sourced. Means you try to know what is our BP level, what is our oxygen level, what is our different biological say indicators, how they are functioning. We try to fetch from the technology. Means we are somehow lacking on the say self awareness. बोलते हैं हमसे ज्यादा तो हमारे चैट जीपीटी को पता है हमारे बारे में, because we are not spending time with ourselves, because we keep asking our questions to chat gpt, and one day you ask the chat gpt, tell me something about you based on my previous search, and you will be very, very surprised to know that okay, these many things even chat gpt know about me. So technology knows more about us than we ourselves. So for developing this self-awareness, you need introspection, spend time with yourself, and meditation. The second aspect is Second attribute is the social awareness. How you will be developing this social awareness is like, social awareness means you are looking for the people, what people are doing. You think about, it requires, say something, a tour, travel, visit to the people, live with the people. For example, when Gandhi ji returned from South Africa and he decided to go in active politics, Gokhale, Gokhale asked Gandhi, please don't be part of active politics without knowing the country. So he was asked to visit entire country for years or so and know the people, know the plight of the people, understand what they want. So social awareness. This Gokhale asked Gandhiji to visit entire India. After this, say, after his selection in the civil services, they take you for the Bharat Darshan. Bharat Darshan. Again, you are interacting with the people. So interaction with the people is very, very important. In for social awareness building, there is a need of media, a media that is not sensational, not resorting to a yellow journalism. You need such kind of media. So do you think media narrative creation? It is said, what what eyes don't see, what eyes don't see, the heart cannot plead for. जो आंखें देख नहीं सकती उसके लिए दिल क्या महसूस करेगा. तो इफ यू वांट टू डेवलप द सेल्फ सोशल अवेयरनेस, लोगों के बारे में जानना चाहते हो, देन यू मस्ट हैव एक्सपोजर टू द मीडिया. आप खुद सोचो, 10 दिन लगातार न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ो, आपको लगेगा हम यार सोसाइटी के बारे में बहुत कुछ जानते हैं. We know about the world affair. So media is very, very important. And nowadays, not just the print media, it is also about the social media on the digital spheres. Okay. So, and one more thing, in Labasna, there is a celebration of India Day. India Day is celebrated. In that, officers are made exposed to diverse culture. So it is very, very important. Think about an example. During COVID, we all get the idea or get the information about the plight of the migrants from the media only. So do you think the access to media help develop social awareness? See how I'm giving you the examples, diverse examples. Then the third thing, in the form of emotional intelligence you can develop, is the self-management. Self-management means you are developing the self-regulation. Means you are capable enough to regulate your emotions. Is it making sense? Regulate your emotions. So how can you develop that? I'm focusing on that part. It is about managing your impulse. It is about managing your impulse. How will you develop that? It can be developed by having active watch on your instinct. Active watch. How it can be possible? It is like pause before you react. It is about pause before you react. Good. Then it is also about cognitive reframing. Cognitive reframing. It means, cognitive reframing means you are able to understand the way you interpret the things. The way you interpret the things means self-regulation or the self-management. Means you are able to manage your emotions. You are not driven by your emotions. The way you see the things, the way you interpret the things, you develop the pattern in that, so that you have understanding. Okay, I am doing this because I am like that. Next can be develop the emotional vocab. Emotional vocab आप develop करो इससे. Means if you are feeling something, name that feeling. Assign a particular tag to that emotion. Okay, I am feeling this. It means you are putting a label on your emotions. Is it clear? So that next time when you are free from that impulse, you will analyze your thought, why I was doing the way I did. Is it clear? So all these points you can write. The next attribute is relationship management. Relationship management or social skill. The way you deal with the people, the way you manage your relations with the people. For that, what you will do? It requires first, first it requires effective communication. Second, it requires practice emotional self control. Third, it requires learn from role model. You will learn from role model. For example, if your role model is someone Vikram Sarabhai, or your role model is Rahul Dravid, so you will understand how to develop the relations. In case of Vikram Sarabhai, he that press conference issue with Rahul Dravid and Vikram Sarabhai both, the Rohit Sharma and here APJ Abdul Kalam. So is it possible? It is a kind of relationship management. We can understand by learning from the say role model, and we can think about having a regular feedback. Regular feedback means I'm communicating to you. I'm making a kind of relation with you, relation of a teacher and taught. Then I will take a feedback whether this the way I'm delivering, is it reaching up to you? Are you getting benefit out of it? So that thing is possible only with regular feedback. Is it clear? Because this question will not be asked in isolation, I am giving you 2 to 3 point for everything, so you can write better answer, and it can be asked any day. The fifth point is, the fifth attribute is self motivation. Self motivation. How will you remain self motivated? Here I am telling you a philosophy from Bhagavad Gita, or the religious text in a secular context, is philosophy of Yoga Karmashu Kausalam. This philosophy of Yoga Karmashu Kausalam is very, very important to remain motivated. It means you know that path of spirituality is something like striving for excellence. If you are striving for excellence, then only you are moving towards path of spirituality. Okay, so this civil services provides you an opportunity to not just remain engrossed in a career profile or a job satisfaction, or something like you are working for salary. No, this is not just way to achieve get the salary. This is a this is also providing you a path to achieve spirituality, because every day you will get something new and you are achieving this spirituality by developing excellence. So this can be your point, that whenever in the interview many time it is asked, why do you want to become an IAS, why do you want to become civil servant? So you can add this philosophy of Yoga Karmasu Kausalam. Sir or madam, I want to strive for excellence. You can say that this civil services is not just a job where you can earn money. This is also a profession. This is also a path to spirituality. You can mention all these things. So this is one, how you will develop the self motivation. Second, you are you connect with the higher purpose. Connect with the higher purpose. You know, there is something called Maslow, a need hierarchy. Need hierarchy. In that Maslow need hierarchy, the top point is, it is said that person at the final stage will go for something called self actualization. Self actualization. Maslow need hierarchy. In the below in the lower level of needs, there is some safety need, self pleasure, or thinking about others. But at the peak, there is something called self-actualization. So if you are driven by this Maslow need hierarchy at the highest level, you are going for self-actualization. Then clear, clear, meaningful, clear, meaningful goals. If you have a clear, meaningful goals, then you will remain motivated. So I hope this is clear. Then what was the question? Let us see. I hope this is making sense to all of you. How can you develop? How can it be developed in people? I have given you sufficient number of points. How does it help an individual take ethical decision? So, do you think it is asking how person can take ethical decision means what are the benefits? What are the benefits of having these attributes of emotional intelligence? Listen, one thing I am telling you: whenever there is a question of emotional intelligence, if it is a generic question on emotional intelligence, always divide this question answer your answer in these 5 attributes. Never ever write on a single attribute, as it is asking how it will help you in ethical decision. So again, you say the first, how self-awareness will help in ethical decision. Self-awareness will help you in something called, or just give me a minute. Am I audible now? Now is it audible? I'm sorry, it was it got muted. Please confirm now it is okay. Thank you, Vikash. Thank you. Now it is audible. Okay. So see what I was telling. I'm just summarizing where it was not audible. Listen, I was telling that I was discussing this question, and see this part I was discussing. How does it means emotional intelligence help an individual in taking ethical decision? So whenever it is asked that how emotional intelligence will help you in developing ethical decision, or anything you are writing about emotional intelligence, always write about these five attributes. Always write about these five attributes. Means how you will be able to develop these five attributes, and how, if you are having these five attributes, you will be getting benefit and taking ethical decision. So that is what I am trying to explain. And I said that when you have a self awareness, you know about you, आप जब खुद के बारे में जानते हो, in that case I give you the example of Gandhi ji. Gandhi ji's example was the Chauri Chaura movement. He ended the movement because the movement turned violent. Violent जब हो गया, इन्होंने बोला कि हम इस मूवमेंट का पार्ट नहीं हो सकते, बिकॉज नॉन वायलेंस की जो वैल्यू है, दैट इज वेरी क्लोज टू माई हार्ट. I cannot compromise on that value. So, because Gandhi ji ko self awareness tha na, then only Gandhi ji did that. And what is ethical decision? Ethical decision is what it ought to be. क्या सच में होना चाहिए, या what is right thing to do, क्या सही चीज है करना. Is it clear? So first thing, you will take ethical decision. Second, कैसे होगा ethical decision? You know your strength and weakness. आपको अपनी शक्तियां भी पता है, आपको कमियां भी पता है. So based on that, you will be taking the right decision. You will decide, you will take up only that work that is good for you. Then third is you will prioritize your value. आपको पता है कौन सी वैल्यू को प्रायोरिटी देनी है, कौन सा काम हमको पहले करना है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, लॉर्ड राम का एग्जाम्पल हम दे सकते हैं, माइथोलॉजिकल एग्जाम्पल, दैट लॉर्ड राम हैज द वैल्यू प्रेफरेंस. ही प्रायोरिटाइज द वैल्यू ऑफ प्राण जाए पर वचन न जाए. I will uphold my promise, whatever may be the cost. So he upholded the promise by saving the Vibhishan when the arrow was shot on the Vibhishan. He came before Vibhishan and saved him from the arrow of Ravan by because he promised the Vibhishan that you will be made the a king of the Lanka. Is it clear? So this is called self-awareness. So when you have self-awareness, you know your strength, weakness, you know, you avoid the conflict of interest, you will avoid crisis of conscience, you will prioritize the values, and you will make better decisions. This is one. Then second is social awareness. How social awareness will help you in making better decisions, ethical decision. Social awareness means other person wants, ये आपको पता है कि दूसरे लोग क्या चाहते हैं, ये आपको पता है. So in case of peace negotiation, it is very very important. जब आप शांति समझौता करने जाते हो ना, तो आपको ये पता होना चाहिए कि दूसरा आदमी क्या चाहता है, तभी होगा, वरना आप उसका व्यू कभी समझ ही नहीं पाओगे किस व्यू से वो काम कर रहा है. Think about why Iran or USA peace deal is not happening, why Russia Ukraine war is continuing, now it is at the frozen state, why Gaza or Israel wali problem is continuing. Because in every case जहां पे peace negotiation fail हो रहे हैं, both the parties don't know what other party wants. They lack social awareness. Now you think about many peace accord has been signed at the northeast, be it is Ulfa, be it is in Tripura, in Meghalaya, and be it is in Assam, Bodoland Accord, Assam Accord. We have made many extremist group surrender their weapons, left wing extremism. Mein. Why we are successful? Because
We have a social awareness that all these people are indulging in violence, not because it is a law and order problem. These people are indulging in violence because of the grave historical injustice they have faced. So government has decided that we will provide all the benefits you need, but please leave the arms, come at the mainstream, work for the success of the country. So आप ये हमेशा एग्जांपल दे सकते हो कैसे पीस निगोशिएशंस में बहुत बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है आपकी सोशल अवेयरनेस. Then second, this I have elaborated now, and now I will not elaborate other points. The second is you will respect the diverse culture, because आपके पास सोशल अवेयरनेस है तो आप रिस्पेक्ट करोगे डाइवर्स कल्चर को. आप उतना ही रिस्पेक्ट दोगे दुर्गा पूजा को, उतना ही रिस्पेक्ट आप मुहर्रम के त्योहार को भी दोगे. Respect the diverse culture means you will reflect tolerance. Second के बाद third, it is about if you have social awareness, you will see the problem in a holistic manner. आप केवल प्रॉब्लम के एक कंपोनेंट को देख के डिसीजन नहीं ले लोगे. फॉर एग्जांपल, अ पर्सन dealing with left wing extremism or dealing with the problem in JNK, and this person, for example, in JNK might be has given say shelter to a terrorist or insurgent, और आपने उस JNK के फैमिली वालों को मार डाला because you was in army. So it reflects you like social awareness. भाई ये इंसान जो JNK में रह रहा है, इसके लिए दोनों एड से प्रॉब्लम है. इसको इन्फिल्ट्रेटर ने भी बोला कि भाई हम तुमको मार देंगे, हमें घर में पनाह दो, और आपने पनाह दी तो आर्मी ने मार दिया. तो इसके लिए तो वही हो गया ना, ये तो इन्फिल्ट्रेटर और आर्मी सेम है जो उसे दोनों मार रहे हैं. सो सोशल अवेयरनेस रिक्वायर्स दैट यू मस्ट गो फॉर विनिंग हार्ट एंड माइंड. आप उनका विश्वास जीतो. समथिंग कॉल्ड समाधान डॉक्ट्रिन टू डील विद लॉ एंड ऑर्डर प्रॉब्लम. आप होलिस्टिक अप्रोच पे काम कर रहे हो. ऑपरेशन सद्भावना जो आर्मी ने लॉन्च किया था, ऑपरेशन सद्भावना ऑफ आर्मी वाज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, विनिंग हार्ट एंड माइंड. This was possible with social awareness. Next is the third thing you can understand is that how to develop self management. आप self management कैसे सीखोगे? It is said that forgiveness is the virtue of a strong. Weak can never forgive. Why? Because of the self management. खुद को कंट्रोल करना, खुद के मन को कंट्रोल करना is very very difficult. That's why it is said one who forgive is the strong person. We can never forgive. Like UPSC asked one question is that I consider one brave who overcome his desire rather than one who overcome his enemy. आप अगर दुश्मन को ओवरकम करते हो तो आप ब्रेव नहीं हो. आप ब्रेव तब हो जब आप अपनी इच्छाओं को कंट्रोल करते हो. द सेम लाइन ऑफ क्वेश्चन, फॉरगिवनेस इज द वर्च्यू ऑफ स्ट्रॉन्ग. जब आप अपने अंदर की जो टेम्पटेशंस है ना, उसको कंट्रोल कर लोगे तभी आप किसी को फॉरगिव कर सकते हो. अदरवाइज आप वेंजेंस में ही रहोगे. हाउ वियतनाम हैज फॉरगिव्ड द यूएसए, हाउ जर्मनी has been forgiven, how Japan has been forgiven. Because when you forgive, you become free from the shackles. So this self management is very very important. And you know how self management will help in ethical decision? First, when you have self management, you have a value of temperance. There is restraint in power. How you will be using your power, there will be restraint. You all know one SP, while he was dealing with farm protest, he said crack the head. This SP was lacking the self management. अपने ऊपर कंट्रोल नहीं था अपने इमोशंस पे. So he was not taking the ethical decision. So self management is very very important. So you will writing in both the perspective. First, how self management will take ethical decision. Second, how if lack of self management you can't take ethical decision. It will help in managing impulse. It will ensure the fair use of power. Fair use of power. You will consider power as a tool for the welfare of the people rather than creating problems for them. Is it clear? Forgiveness liberate the soul. Eye for an eye make the whole world blind. If इस टाइप की अंडरस्टैंडिंग है तभी आप सेल्फ मैनेजमेंट कर पाओगे. Is it clear? Then see next. सेल्फ मैनेजमेंट के बाद नेक्स्ट आता है आपका रिलेशनशिप मैनेजमेंट. हाउ you are able to manage your relations with others and making things possible. So relationship management means you are looking for having power with others rather than power over others. Think about this relationship management in your administration. And I told you, whenever you are writing administration, divide it into these parts. Now I'm explaining here how you will be using your self-management here. At the individual level, if you have self-management, you will not feel anger. I'm discussing about, I was discussing about relationship management. Yes, so relationship management comes when you are dealing with these three type of people. Relation between intra-organization means horizontally, means you are dealing with your peers. Okay. Then vertical, you are dealing with your top boss, and your lower hierarchy people will dealing with above in the hierarchy. Inter-organization means one organization dealing with other organization. For example, I give you the example of Ministry of Finance dealing with the multiple ministries, Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Commerce. And if there is relationship management is missing, they cannot ensure providing fund with one another. Relationship management between the government and the people. Okay, so relationship management, you can consider this how this vertical, like Kiran Vedi in Tihar jail and Tihar jail reform. This Tihar jail reform was possible with the when Kiran Vedi was at the helm of affair. It was possible because she was able to manage the relation with the same type of workers or the same type of staff. ऐसा थोड़ी था कि किरण बेदी के आने पे वहां के सारे स्टाफ को बदल दिया गया, जो किरण बेदी को चाहिए थे वो मिले थे. नहीं, she knows how to manage the relation with these people. So relationship management was very, very important. Kiran Bedi. So when you are able to manage the relation, what you do? You are able to ensure you are able to influence the lower staff. You are able to influence the lower staff. You have a better communication. You have a leadership quality. You can manage the conflict. One very, very important case study I will give you about the relationship management is that earlier in the CISF, there was high rate of suicide. People used to commit the suicide, personnel. When it was made that commander will go the forward post, meet the personnel on the regular basis. Better work culture means officers are very, very happy, or the personals are very, very happy, and they are performing their duty in a better manner. So is it not the ethical decision, better decision making, better work culture? For example, relationship management, I gave you this case study. Read this. You are having a rescue operation. Your team member has been attacked, and team member are pleading with you to call off the operation. अब बताओ, आपका अगर relationship management नहीं है तो आप call off करना पड़ेगा. They will not support you. So teamwork is very, very important. When you have emotional intelligence, you are able to develop the teamwork. Your team will work with you. Is it making sense? Tell me if you want to ask something. Is this CISF case study? Understood? Anything you want me to clarify? Okay, let us move ahead. So, I was discussing this, the relationship management. After relationship management, one more component is, last component is self-motivation. If you are self-motivated, how you will be taking ethical decision? Benefit of self-motivation. So benefit of self-motivation and how you will be taking ethical decision is that what I told you, yoga karmasu kauslam, you are striving for excellence. Means if you are self-motivated, you will always, every day, will make things better. Means you are making decisions ethical. Every day you are setting a next benchmark for what is right thing to do. You are connecting with the people with for higher purpose. You have a meaningful goal. You are achieving that. So I hope now this is very, very clear. So with that note, this question is done. Now I am discussing some more questions, like just take a broad overview of the questions first. First, anger is a harmful negative emotion, injurious to both personal and work life. Discuss how it leads to negative emotions and undesirable behavior, how it can be managed and controlled. So again, how it will be managed and controlled? The same thing. How to develop self-regulation. See, in very, very specific question on anger, you have identified how emotional intelligence concept can be applied. Anger happens when you lose your self-regulation. Self-management खत्म हो जाएगा जब, तब anger आता है. And how to develop the self-regulation is the answer. How can you manage or control your anger? How it lead to negative emotions or undesirable behavior? When you are not in control of your emotions, your emotions are not in control, then all the negative consequence. It is said that anger is like a burning coal. Anger is like a burning coal. It harms more to the person who holds it rather than who holds it in the intention to throw that on others. तो ये जो एंगर है, ये उस गर्म कोयले की तरह है. ये उसको ज्यादा हार्म करता है जिसने उसको पकड़ रखा है उस इंटेंशन से कि दूसरे के ऊपर फेंकेगा. सो इट इज इंजूरियस टू पर्सनल लाइफ एंड वर्क लाइफ. वर्क लाइफ में आपका अगेन वही सेम चीज, इंडिविजुअल लेवल पे आप डिस्ट्रैक्टेड रहोगे. व्हाट इज सेड, एंगर एंड हेट्रेड आर ट्रू एनिमी, द एंगर एंड हेट्रेड आर द enemy of true understanding or clear understanding. When anger or hatred are the enemy of clear understanding, if you can't even think clearly, how you will act clearly? Then your action with your colleagues will be poor. You will be violent for anything, any input that is not in line with your understanding. Is it clear? So will you be able to make this answer right? Then how will you apply the emotional intelligence in administrative practices? Emotional intelligence in administrative practices, use this framework without thinking twice, and you will be able to write the better answer. There is no point in thinking again. Emotional intelligence in administration. So at the individual level, if you have emotional intelligence, means you have self-awareness, you have social awareness, what benefit you will derive in administration. You will know your weakness and strengths. You know you will lack crisis of conscience. You will not having, say, no anger, no hatred. You are not driven by anger or you are not driven by emotions, but rationality. You will have objectivity in action. Then administration में intra-organization, horizontal level, you are better positioned with the colleagues. You will not take any unconstitutional advice, or you will not follow the unconstitutional advice of the minister. You will adhere to the constitutional principles. You will act without fear and favor. So all these arguments you will be giving vertical level pe. If you have emotional intelligence, you will be open to the advice given by lower level bureaucracy. And lower level bureaucracy से input मिलना बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है for realistic framing of citizen charter. आप रियलिस्टिक फ्रेमिंग कर रहे हो सिटीजन चार्टर की, अदरवाइज आप सिटीजन चार्टर कुछ भी बना लोगे अपने मन से बैठ के। भाई जो ग्राउंड लेवल ब्यूरोक्रेसी इंप्लीमेंट उसी को ही करना है। वेस्टर्न इंटेलिजेंस, यू थिंक अबाउट गवर्नमेंट, देन मेंटेन द रिलेशंस। रिलेशनशिप मैंने बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट आइडिया है, ज्वाइंट फॉरेस्ट मैनेजमेंट। अगर आप ज्वाइंट फॉरेस्ट नहीं है तो आप अकेले एनवायरनमेंट बचाए, एंड दिस ज्वाइंटनेस विल बी इंटेलिजेंस। बहुत बार पब्लिक आपसे ऐसे बाहियात से सवाल पूछती है, they keep asking, they keep accusing you, आप तो भ्रष्टाचारी हो, ये हो, but you need to be self motivated, driven by yoga karmasu kausalam. Again I am repeating, means if you have emotional intelligence, you are able to maintain this government public relation. Again, government public relation, it requires you with the government that you are implementing the government scheme in a better manner. Think about if people are not making, not constructing or not using toilets, how you can ensure there is a limitation of rules, laws, rules and regulation. जल्दी बोलने में ये हो जाता है, laws, rules and regulation. Then it requires attitudinal change, and attitudinal change इतना आसान तो नहीं होता है कि एक दिन में करा लोगे. So you need a lot of patience. You need a self motivation. Again, all these points you will be writing in that question. I hope this is clear. So all those who want to write the answer, write it, send me on the Telegram. I have shared the account username. Then what are the main component of emotional intelligence? Can they be learned? The same question they have asked in, say, how it can be developed in 2020, 2013 they asked, then in 2020 repeated. इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस की यूनिट में हर साल 2 सवाल आने हैं और एक कोट आना है उससे रिलेटेड, बट आपके पास उनके पास कोई नई थीम बची ही नहीं है. You have to just identify the theme, and that identification is possible when you have a good command over attributes. Then you see the next. In case of crisis of conscience, does emotional intelligence help overcome the same without compromising the ethical and moral stand? In case of crisis of conscience, emotional intelligence help to overcome the same. Means आपको emotional intelligence crisis of conscience को solve करने में help कर रहा है. Is this not, if you are having self awareness, then you are able to solve the crisis of conscience? What is crisis of conscience? Means your conscience is saying something else and you are forced to do something else. Your inner voice is saying something different and your external environment is saying you to do something different. Think about whistleblower. क्या करेगा ये whistleblower? This is called crisis of conscience. और emotional intelligence, self awareness है तो whistleblower क्या करेगा? भाई whistleblower करेगा वो. Emotional intelligence. So it is saying help overcome the same. Overcome किया crisis of conscience को without compromising the ethical and moral stand. See, whistleblower अगर वो सीटी बजा रहा है, जब वो सीटी बजाएगा तभी तो ethical stand होगा. Is it making sense? that you are likely to follow, critically examine. So see, I am showing you how you can generate the answer from UKey, and आप अपने आंसर को evaluate भी करा सकते हो इससे. This is very good platform where you can generate the answer. See, it is saying crisis of conscience. In the case of crisis of conscience, emotional intelligence help you overcome that. So see, you have in the introduction, you have said what is crisis of conscience and what are the emotional intelligence के aspects. Then आपने यहाँ पे crisis of conscience को थोड़ा सा explain कर दिया कि क्या होता है. Then you see emotional intelligence help uphold ethical standard and solve the crisis of conscience. तो कैसे ये help कर रहा है आपको? So this is what a benefits of emotional intelligence. Benefits of emotional intelligence. You can ask from these contexts given here if you want to get access to UKey, or generally सीधे पूछ लो, ask UKey and you can start generating your answers. So self-awareness, moral conflict, you know what is the moral conflict, fear-driven decisions, तो simple से बच जाओगे, core principles क्या हैं. So all these points you can write. In this question, very important is critical examination. Can EI also lead to compromise? आपके पास इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस है, उससे क्राइसिस ऑफ कंसाइंस तो सॉल्व हुआ और इथिकल डिसीजन हुआ, लेकिन ऐसा हो सकता है कि इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस से कुछ गड़बड़ डिसीजन भी हो जाए. सो दिस इज व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, देयर इज अ डार्क साइड, देयर इज अ डार्क साइड ऑफ इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस. एक डायमेंशन ये बनाना और दूसरा डायमेंशन ये बताना कि हमेशा इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस से ही नहीं डिसीजन होगा इथिकल. You need more than emotional intelligence to take ethical decision. What is this more? Something more is IQ. What it is said? It is said knowledge without integrity and integrity without knowledge. Integrity without knowledge is weak, but knowledge without integrity is disastrous and dreadful. So if you want to take the ethical decision, what you have to do? You have to focus on both. You must have knowledge and you must have integrity. In that case, integrity is like emotional intelligence. So you must have IQ also. आपके पास बुद्धि अकल भी होनी चाहिए, आपके पास अवेयरनेस भी होनी चाहिए, आपके पास नॉलेज ऑफ रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन भी होना चाहिए. आपको ये भी पता होना चाहिए कि एक्चुअल में कैसे काम होता है. यू शुड नो द चैनल ऑफ वर्क फ्लो. आपको यही नहीं पता कि अगर हमें ये पर्टिकुलर काम कराना है तो कितनी मिनिस्ट्री से क्लियरेंस चाहिए, तो आप कैसे इथिकल डिसीजन लोगे? इफ यू डोंट नो व्हाट इज द knowledge which type of knowledge is required for managing the people, you lack the awareness about the people you working with. अब आपको यही नहीं पता, से एग्जांपल ऑफ क्रिकेट, if you don't know which is the very good bowler, how can you assign that bowler? अब आपने बॉलर को कीपिंग करने के लिए लगा दिया या बॉलर को बोला भाई आप ओपनिंग करने चले जाओ. आपके पास बहुत अच्छा इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस है, लेकिन उससे काम क्या होगा? So IQ is also important. That is what I am saying. Knowledge is also important. Is it clear? So आप दो टाइप से इसको काउंटर करोगे क्रिटिकल एग्जाम. पहली बात डार्क साइड ऑफ EI. डार्क साइड ऑफ EI क्या होता है उसको देख लो. द डार्क साइड ऑफ EI, इमोशनली आप इंटेलिजेंट हो. ऐसा भी तो हो सकता है कि आप इतने इंटेलिजेंट हो गए इमोशनली कि आप मैनिपुलेट कर रहे हो लोगों को. पॉजिटिव रोल ऑफ EI में तो है कि आप फेयरनेस प्रमोट करोगे, लेकिन ऐसा भी तो कर सकते हो फेवरेटिज्म. सोशल स्किल के नाम पे आप कंसेंसस बिल्ड करो, उसको आप मैनिपुलेट भी कर सकते हो. इमोशनल रेगुलेशन प्रिवेंट रेस डिसीजन, ऐसा भी हो सकता है आप मोरल आउटरीच को सप्रेस कर दो. Nowadays what politicians are doing, नीट का पेपर लीक हुआ एंड द डायरेक्टर इज सेइंग नो नो नो, लीक नहीं हुआ है, बस कुछ क्वेश्चन सरफेस हो गए हैं. इज दिस नॉट इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस? सीबीएसई डायरेक्टर इज सेइंग नहीं नहीं, आपका बच्चों के साथ डिस्क्रिपेंसी नहीं हुई है, हैक नहीं हुआ है, वो तो ऑफलाइन टेस्ट होता है. देयर इज अ डिफरेंस कि ऑफलाइन टेस्ट होता है और हैक नहीं हुआ. आप ऑफलाइन टेस्ट करा दो फिर भी हैक हो सकता है सिस्टम. आपका ऑन स्क्रीन इवेल्युएशन का फीचर है. सो दिस इज इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस. यू आर मैनिपुलेटिंग द थिंग सोशल स्किल के नाम पे कि हम रिलेशन मैनेज कर लेते हैं. अडेप्टेबिलिटी ये इंकरेज करता है फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी को, लेकिन आपको हो सकता है मोरल फेयरनेस को डाइल्यूट कर दे. सो दिस इज व्हाट आई एम सेइंग कि भाई इथिकल एस्पेक्ट का जब आंसर लिख रहे हो तो क्रिटिकल पर्सपेक्टिव भी ऐड करना, because question is critically examined. Now you see this question. There is enough on this earth for everyone's need, but but for no one's greed. But for no one's greed. Again, if you have self-regulation, then only you can understand this thing. That this earth is inherited by us. Not, sorry, this earth is not inherited by us. This earth is borrowed by us, and I have to return this to the future generation. दिस अंडरस्टैंडिंग आपको सेल्फ रेगुलेशन लाएगा. तब आप अपने जो आपके रिसोर्सेज है उनको आप फेयर यूज करोगे. समझ आ रहा है? अगेन, हाउ यू विल बी यूजिंग इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस इन दिस कोड while writing the answer to this code. Okay, then see, nearly all men can withstand adversity. That if you want to test the man's character, give him power. Abraham Lincoln. आप उसको पावर दे के देखो, तब पता चलेगा कि ये बंदा एक्चुअल में इसका कैरेक्टर कैसा है. So power means you have all the things that you can use to make other person work as per your whims and fancy. अब आपके पास वो है तो इसका मतलब है आपके पास इमोशन है. आप उस पावर को इमोशंस के साथ यूज करो या रेशनैलिटी के साथ यूज करो. इफ यू आर यूजिंग दिस पावर विद रेशनैलिटी मींस आपके पास इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस है, आप पॉजिटिव यूज करोगे. हियर आई एम एक्सप्लेनिंग हाउ इन दिस कोड you will be using the emotional intelligence. Although entire कोट का आंसर जो होगा वो इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस पे नहीं होगा. There will be many more points that can be written. वो मैं आपको बाद में एक्सप्लेन करूंगा जब कोड बेस्ड क्वेश्चन और कराऊंगा. जैसे आप ये वाला क्वेश्चन देखो, द विल टू पावर एग्जिस्ट बट इट कैन बी टेम्ड. आपकी इच्छा तो है कि आप पावर यूज करो. अगेन आई एम गिविंग यू द एग्जांपल ऑफ हरियाणा एसपी फार्म प्रोटेस्ट के टाइम पे. पुलिस वालों के पास सारी पावर होती है फॉर एनकाउंटर, बट इट कैन बी टेम्ड. बी गाइडेड बाय रेशनैलिटी एंड प्रिंसिपल ऑफ मोरल ड्यूटी. एनकाउंटर आप कब करोगे? जब आप रेशनैलिटी और मोरल ड्यूटी से नहीं ड्रिवन हो. यू आर ड्रिवन बाय योर इमोशंस कि इस बंदे को तो खत्म ही करना है. यू आर नॉट ड्रिवन बाय द कॉज ऑफ फॉरगिवनेस. फॉरगिवनेस का मतलब ये नहीं है पनिशमेंट नहीं देना है. फॉरगिवनेस का मतलब है यू हैव गिवन द पनिशमेंट, नाउ यू हैव फॉरगेटन. उसको माफ कर दिया, छोड़ दिया, अब आप उसके बारे में सोच नहीं रहे हो. तो पनिशमेंट देना है बट वेंजियंस की भावना नहीं रखनी है. दैट इज फॉरगिवनेस. इस पे बेस्ड है आपका रिहेबिलिटेटिव जस्टिस का पूरा आइडिया जो बीएनएस में आया है. सो गाइडेड बाय रेशनैलिटी एंड प्रिंसिपल ऑफ मोरल ड्यूटी, तभी आप टेम कर पाओगे. एंड आप रेशनैलिटी एंड मोरल ड्यूटी से कैसे गाइड होगे? अगेन पुट दीज पॉइंट्स ऑफ से सेल्फ मैनेजमेंट, रिलेशनशिप मैनेजमेंट, सेल्फ मोटिवेशन, इन पॉइंट्स को लिखो. इज इट मेकिंग सेंस? नाउ यू सी दिस. I count him braver who overcome his desire than who overcome his enemy. इस क्वेश्चन को देख लो डिटेल में एक बार. See, I count him braver who overcome his desires than him who overcome his enemy. इसका मतलब क्या है? पहले आप कैसे आंसर लिखोगे इसका समझना. एंड दे आस्क हाउ दिस कोट इज रेलेवेंट इन प्रेजेंट कॉन्टेक्स्ट. प्रेजेंट कॉन्टेक्स्ट में कैसे रेलेवेंट है? सो फर्स्ट यू आर एक्सप्लेनिंग व्हाई ओवरकमिंग एनिमी. वाई ओवरकमिंग एनिमी, जो ओवरकम करता है एनिमी को, उसको ब्रेव नहीं माना जाता है, बिकॉज ब्रेव मानना मीन्स दैट वर्क इज इजी। आप आसान काम कर रहे हो इसलिए ब्रेव नहीं मान रहे। तो भाई दिस इज इजी, दिस इज इजी बिकॉज जो एनिमी आउटसाइड है ना, दैट इज विजिबल, यू कैन क्लियरली आइडेंटिफाई, अच्छा इसी को ही मारना है। बट इन केस ऑफ ओवरकमिंग द डिजायर, it requires you need to introspect and act on your mistake। आपको खुद से सोचना पड़ेगा, आपको अपने ईगो को लेट गो करना पड़ेगा अगर आप वांट करेक्शन चाहते हो तो। इस टाइप के आर्ग्यूमेंट आप लिखोगे, दीज आर द आर्ग्यूमेंट्स, ये ऐसे देने पड़ेंगे कि हम एनिमी को ओवरकम करना इजी है बिकॉज वो विजिबल हो सकता है। ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि आप अकेले नहीं हरा पा रहे हो, मिलके हरा लो। फॉर एग्जाम्पल वर्ल्ड वॉर्स में आपने देखा होगा अलायंसेस बनते थे, क्लियर है। गांवों में लड़ाई हो जाए, 4-5 आदमी मिलके जाता है, जैसे पंचायत सीरीज में सरपंच जी पे अटैक हो गया, वो अपने उप सरपंच, सचिव जी, वो सबको बुला लिया, है ना, तो मिलके मार लो। तो दिस इज अनदर थिंग। थर्ड, ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि एक ही बार लड़ाई हुई, वो एक ही एनिमी था और आपने उसको मार दिया, बात खत्म हो गई। सो दीज थिंग्स मेक कि भाई एनिमी को हराना आसान है, इट इज इजी थिंग टू डू। इज इट मेकिंग सेंस व्हाई दिस इज इजी एंड व्हाई this Aristotle consider one count brave who overcome his desire। ऐसा क्यों? क्योंकि डिजायर को ओवरकम करना बहुत ज्यादा कठिन है। क्यों कठिन है उसके पॉइंट्स देखो, आप क्या लिखोगे। फर्स्ट पॉइंट आप लिखोगे कि भाई सबसे पहले समझ में आया डिजायर है क्या। अपनी गलती मानना ही मुश्किल होता है, आपको लगता ही नहीं हम कुछ गलत कर सकते हैं। सो इंट्रोस्पेक्ट एंड लेट गो योर ईगो। आप देखो वेरी वेरी प्रॉब्लमेटिक थिंग वाज, आप रावण का एग्जांपल लो। रावण, दिस रावण वाज सो नॉलेजेबल, फिर भी वो अपनी गलती नहीं मान रहा था। माता सीता उसको रोज समझा रही थी, ये धूर्त, बात समझ जा, गलत इंसान के साथ वो कर रहा है तू। लेकिन उसको क्या था, ही वाज ड्रिवन बाय लस्ट, ही वाज आइंग समवन एल्स वाइफ। तो उसको अपनी गलती समझ में नहीं आ रही थी, इसलिए डिजायर को कंट्रोल करना बहुत कठिन है, बिकॉज इट रिक्वायर्स टू लेट गो योर ईगो। आप कितने भी नॉलेजेबल हो, बट आपका ईगो नहीं कम होगा तो आप उसको ओवरकम नहीं कर सकते। इसलिए एरिस्टोटल कहता है कि डिजायर को कम करने के लिए सिर्फ नॉलेज नहीं चाहिए, you also need to overcome temptation and you need what, self regulation। So third is you need to remain vigilant, consistently vigilant। ऐसा नहीं कि डिजायर एक दिन आएगी, एक दिन हरा दिया भाई, कल फिर से आ जाएगी। एंड बुद्धा सेज sorrow is from desire। then you need to fight alone। भैया तुम्हारे बदले ना कोई और नहीं लड़ सकता। इसीलिए कहते हैं डिप्रेशन को हराना सबसे कठिन है, बिकॉज डिप्रेशन तभी होता है जब आप अपनी डिजायर से ड्रिवन होके कोई चीज नहीं अचीव कर पाते हो और उसके बाद आप डिप्रेशन फील करते हो। तो जो डिप्रेशन को ओवरकम कर लेना, वो है असली फाइटर। देन इट इज अ लाइफ लॉन्ग प्रोसेस, रिक्वायर्स कंटिन्यूअस स्ट्रगल, हर रोज का जद्दोजहद है। देन आपको पूछता है रेलेवेंस बताओ इन प्रेजेंट टाइम। अब बताओ ये सब रेलेवेंस के पार्ट बनेंगे, दैट राइजिंग मटीरियलिज्म, इस वजह से लोग डिजायर नहीं कम कर पा रहे हैं। जाते हैं खरीदने एक शर्ट, उसमें लिखा रहता है बाई 6 गेट 7। एक खरीदने, एक एक्स्ट्रा लेने के चक्कर में आप 6 खरीद लेते हो। सो यू आर नॉट एबल टू कंट्रोल योर डिजायर एंड देयर इज अ प्रॉब्लम ऑफ सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी। सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी वाला आइडिया नहीं इंप्लीमेंट कर पा रहे हो। सो इट इज अ प्रॉब्लमेटिक रेलेवेंस इन प्रेजेंट टाइम, बिकॉज आज के टाइम में रेलेवेंट क्या है कि आप लिमिटेड रिसोर्सेज का यूज करो। अर्थ इज फॉर ऑल द ह्यूमन नीड्स बट नो वंस ग्रीड। तो आप जब तक ग्रीड नहीं फॉलो करोगे, डिजायर को नहीं, ग्रीड को नहीं कम करोगे, तब तक आप क्या कर पाओगे, यू आर नॉट एबल टू फॉलो, यू विल नॉट एबल टू कंट्रोल योर डिजायर, देन यू आर नॉट ब्रेव। बिकॉज जो आज के टाइम में रेलेवेंट है, क्योंकि आज की प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने के लिए जो जरूरी है, आप अपनी जब डिजायर्स को कंट्रोल करोगे ना, तभी प्रेजेंट टाइम की प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व कर पाओगे। रेलेवेंस इन प्रेजेंट कॉन्टेक्स्ट को दो तरीके से समझो, एक आज की प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व होनी चाहिए और दूसरा दूसरा उससे आपको कुछ पॉजिटिव पॉइंट मिलने चाहिए। राइजिंग इंडिविजुअलिज्म, अकेला बैठा है आदमी, कुछ भी कर रहा है, टिंडर चला रहा है, उल्टे सीधे प्लान बना रहा है, एसिड अटैक की सोच रहा है, इंडिविजुअलिज्म, जुवेनाइल डेलिंक्वेंसी, वो समथिंग अभी कुछ दिन पहले इंस्टाग्राम पे कोई एक पता नहीं कौन सा बॉक्स था, क्या वो उसको बोलते थे, that in that all the kids what they were doing, I'm not able to recall the right name, but something that happened because of the desire, juvenile delinquency हो रहा है. Then fast paced urban life, everyone is running behind to earn the money by hook or crook, desire, social media and cancel culture, then emotional intelligence नहीं है लोगों के पास, then abuse of power, सबको चाहिए कि हम पावरफुल दिखे, पावर ओवर अदर का जो कॉन्सेप्ट आ गया है ना, ये दैट इज वेरी वेरी डिजास्टर्स. Desire driven action compromise the veil of ignorance for justice. Desire driven action, veil of ignorance for justice. अगेन जो पेपर लीक हो रहा है ना, और पेपर लीक जो करता है वो कभी ये नहीं सोचता कि हम खुद जाएंगे इस डॉक्टर से इलाज कराने. नीट का जब पेपर रिलीज होता है तो वेल ऑफ इग्नोरेंस कंप्रोमाइज हो रहा है ना. अगर ये आदमी वेल ऑफ इग्नोरेंस की तरह काम करे और इसको बोला जाए कि भाई आप उस आदमी को पेपर दे रहे हो जो कल डॉक्टर बन के आपका इलाज करेगा, तो बताओ क्या ये आदमी अब इसको देगा पेपर? नहीं देगा. बिकॉज वेल ऑफ इग्नोरेंस इज यू आर गिविंग द राइट्स और रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी कंसिडरिंग दैट यू माइट बी इन एनी ऑफ देम. ये जो जॉन रॉल्स ने जो वेल ऑफ इग्नोरेंस का आइडिया दिया, कैसे आप पेपर लीक वाले आइडिया से जोड़ रहे हो? इज इट मेकिंग सेंस? Then you see what kind of examples you can add. Acid attack desire से होता है, rape, lust, रावण, अशोका, ये पॉजिटिव एग्जांपल है कैसे इन्होंने अपनी डिजायर को कंट्रोल किया. एंड ये शिफ्टेड फ्रॉम भेरी व्हाट इट इज धम्मा घोसा, भेरी घोसा टू धम्मा घोसा. पेपर लीक, वाई पेरेंट्स आर पेइंग फॉर द पेपर लीक? पैसा तो घर वाले ही दे रहे हैं. दे आर पेइंग because they are unable to control the desire. They are forgetting that by in the garb of making the career of the of of their children, they are compromising the character, career over character. Nelson Mandela, positive example, he controlled his temptation, desire to take revenge. Forgiveness is the virtue of a strong. Malala Yousafzai, she forgiven Talibanis. Even she was shot with the bullet, not dead. So see what kind of examples you will be using. Then what kind of thinkers you can use. आंसर में ऐसे डब्बे बना बना के मत लिखना, मैं आपको वैल्यू एडिशन के पॉइंट्स दे रहा हूं. You can incorporate these examples. Some of the examples I have demonstrated here. So in thinkers you can use Buddha. How Buddha? Desire is the cause of every sorrow. So if you control the desire, you will get out of sorrow. Aristotle, golden mean. How you can control the desire? By having the Aristotle's golden mean. Okay. Then pleasure without conscience is a sin. Means आप अपनी desire से driven होके pleasure ना achieve करो without conscience को follow किए हुए. Mill says there are two types of pleasure: qualitative pleasure and quantitative pleasure. So always focus on the qualitative pleasure. ऐसे pleasure पे focus करो. It is what it is said. It is better to be a pig satisfied than a man. It is better to be a man dissatisfied than a pig satisfied. आप pig हो, एनिमल एग्जिस्टेंस है आपका, और आप सेटिस्फाइड हो. ऐसा सेटिस्फेक्शन का क्या चाहिए? इंसान वाली जिंदगी जियो ना. जिंदगी बड़ी होनी चाहिए, लंबी हो ना हो कोई बात नहीं. सो इट इज बेटर टू बी मैन डिससेटिस्फाइड देन अ पिग सेटिस्फाइड. इस टाइप की बात कह सकते हो. वाई डिजायर. देन हाउ, अगला पॉइंट बनेगा हाउ टू इनकलकेट दैट, कि आप अपनी डिजायर्स को ओवरकम कर पाओ. You can overcome by learning from great scholars. Scholars के नाम आप ऊपर से ले लो. Develop emotional intelligence, self-regulation, and you all know how to develop the self-regulation. pause before you act, cognitive reframing, develop emotional vocab, label emotions, all these things. Is it clear? Let us take one more question. This question is specific. Specific question. Why I'm saying this question is specific? This question is specific because there are 5 attributes of emotional intelligence, and out of these 5 attributes, question is related to social awareness. Social awareness. Social awareness means empathy. You are driven by social awareness and empathy. ठीक है, तो कैसे social awareness और empathy हो रहा है? देखो, this question is related to empathy. Like one question I showed you, that a crisis of conscience can be solved with emotional intelligence and without compromising the ethical decision. That was a specific question related to self-awareness. Is it clear? So, empathy is seeing with the eyes of others. वही जो मैंने आपको बोला था कि आप पीस निगोशिएशन आपका कभी सक्सेसफुल नहीं होगा। आप रशिया यूक्रेन के केस में देख लो, यूएस इजराइल के, ईरान के केस में देख लो, इजराइल गजा के केस में देख लो, कभी नहीं होगा जब तक आप उस प्रॉब्लम को दूसरे की आंखों से नहीं देख रहे हो। एम्पैथी इज सीइंग विद द आईज ऑफ अदर्स, लिसनिंग विद द ईयर्स ऑफ अदर्स। दूसरे की आंखों से देखो, दूसरे से कानों से सुनो, और दूसरे के दिल से महसूस करो कि क्या चल रहा है उसके दिल में। तभी आप उसका दर्द समझ सकते हो, तभी आपके अंदर एम्पैथी आएगी। How can emotionally intelligent civil servant utilize the empathy to improve governance and service delivery? Very, very simple question. Can anyone tell me which framework you will be using? Civil servant की बात हो गई, administration आएगा, then again पूछ रहा है improve governance, link all the points of good governance. Good governance के points ये देखो कहाँ गया, good governance। अगर empathy है then you will be consensus oriented. आप दूसरे के कान और आंख से सुन रहे हो, हृदय से फील कर रहे हो, तभी कंसेंसस ओरिएंटेड होगा। योर पीस निगोशिएशंस विल बी पार्टिसिपेटरी, विनिंग हार्ट एंड माइंड वाली अप्रोच होगी। आप तभी ट्राइबल वे ऑफ लाइफ को समझ पाओगे। योर डिसीजंस विल बी ट्रांसपेरेंट। आपको ये लगेगा ना, हमने अगर छिपा के काम कर लिया तो दूसरा इंसान को कैसा महसूस होगा। सो इन द इंट्रोडक्शन यू विल बी राइटिंग एम्पैथी क्या होता है वो समझ लो, स्टैंडिंग इन द शूज ऑफ अदर्स, बिल्ड सोशल अवेयरनेस, हेंस वन मोर इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंट। Then you are giving the heading emotionally intelligent civil servant utilizing empathy to improve the governance and social delivery, service delivery. How? See, this is how you will be writing the answer. This is a perfect way to write. It helps help work as a team. You are giving argument, then example. E. Sridharan installed reverse clock to motivate and synchronize the team effort. Team की तरह काम कर रहे हो empathy से. Second, it build trust among the personnels. कैसे? 40% reduction in CISF suicide after commander visiting personals at their post and interacting them. Third, help in making prudent decision. Returning officer deciding granting exemption from election duty after understanding the genuine personal hardship. अगर ये होता तो BLO सुसाइड नहीं करते ऐसा IR के टाइम पे। समझ आ रहा है? प्रैक्टिकल एग्जांपल। देन नेक्स्ट, इट हेल्प्स अंडरस्टैंड थिंग्स फ्रॉम अदर्स पर्सपेक्टिव। दूसरों की आंखों से देख रहे हो, कान से सुन रहे हो, फील कर रहे हो, तो दूसरे के पर्सपेक्टिव समझोगे। मीन्स यू आर not pushing for one size fit approach. You are tailoring the policy based on local needs and circumstances. Respect for tribal way of life, tribal panchsheel. This is the example. Then again, it improves the citizen-centric service delivery. How it is improving the citizen-centric service delivery? If you are empathetic, you are simplifying the procedure for senior citizen. It is always said that 80 plus अगर आप हो तो आपको हॉस्पिटल में लाइन नहीं लगानी पड़ेगी। सर्विस डिलीवरी इंप्रूव हो गई, सिंप्लीफाई कर दिया प्रोसीजर। डिफरेंटली एबल्ड पीपल के लिए अलग से आपने वहाँ रैंप्स बना दिए कि वो आएगा तो भैया इधर पे चढ़ के चला जाएगा अपना, वरना आपने ऐसे ऐसे सीढ़ियां बना दी और इतना ऊंचा भी बना दिया, बेटा अब तू चढ़ के दिखा। दैट इज नॉट सिंपैथी एम्पैथी ना। देन मार्जिनलाइज्ड ग्रुप। देन नेक्स्ट, अगर आपको एम्पैथी है देन यू विल बी एनहेंसिंग द ग्रीवांस रिड्रेसल, better resolve the complaints. For example, RTI Act says if someone is not able to write the application for RTI, the the officer, the PIO, public information officer, will provide all the due support to that person. अब वो अगर नहीं लिख पा रहा है तो वो बोलेगा, आप उसको लिख के दोगे कागज पे, वो बोलेगा और आप लिखोगे। ये तभी होगा ना जब आप एम्पैथेटिक हो, तभी आप जो आपका जो लॉ है उसकी स्पिरिट को आप होल्ड करोगे। गवर्नेंस, सर्विस डिलीवरी, promote inclusive governance, then policies become more sensitive. Oh, just a minute. Yes, policies become more sensitive to the needs of the women, children, and minority. Then help in a conflict resolution may help करेगा, understanding the concerns of all stakeholder, enable peaceful settlement of dispute, encourage people's participation in program implementation. Then joint forest management is the example. Then you see this question was related to how emotionally intelligent civil servant utilize empathy. Now you are adding the flip side कि भैया सब कुछ empathy से ही नहीं होगा. However, empathy should not become the sole driver of guiding the decision. Rationality should take a better seat or the forward seat. Rationality should be controller of the charioteer, reflected in Plato's idea of philosopher king. May compromise prudence and objectivity, violating rules to provide food grain to women lacking the required document. आपको रूल नहीं वायलेट करना है, बट यू हैव टू टेक ऑल द नेसेसरी स्टेप्स जिससे ये विमेन के पास वो डॉक्यूमेंट आ जाए और आप उसको खाना दे दो। पीडीएस ऑफिसर वाला केस स्टडी, रूल वायलेट करके नहीं, बिकॉज इफ यू वायलेट द रूल इट विल सेट द स्लिपरी स्लोप, इट विल कंप्रोमाइज द प्रिडिक्टेबिलिटी, इट विल सेट अ रॉन्ग प्रेसिडेंस। फिर तो ऐसे सारे ही आ जाएंगे, जिसके बाद डॉक्यूमेंट नहीं है वो भी आ जाएगा कि भैया हमें भी दे दो, उसको दिया था। देन हाउ विल यू जस्टिफाई? या आप बोलो हम पैसे दे देंगे खुद, नहीं पैसे आप थोड़ी दोगे, बिकॉज दैट इज नॉट सस्टेनेबल डिसीजन। कितने लोगों को आप पैसे दे दोगे? देन इट कैन क्रिएट स्कोप फॉर मिसयूज ऑफ डिस्क्रिशन, कैटेगोरिकल इंपरेटिव नहीं बनेगा वो। कंक्लूजन में क्या लिखोगे? सिविल सर्वेंट मस्ट स्ट्राइक अ बैलेंस बिटवीन ब्यूरोक्रेटिक वैल्यू ऑफ ऑब्जेक्टिविटी एंड डेमोक्रेटिक वैल्यू ऑफ एम्पैथी. Only such balanced approach can ensure fairness and responsiveness in governance. Is it making sense? Okay, so likewise you will be taking all these questions. When I will be taking quote based questions, then quote based question में मैं ये वाले सारे quotes आपको करा दूंगा. Okay, so let us wind up the session. If you have any doubt, please ask, or if you want to give some feedback, give some understanding, how should I may have better planned it. You all have understood valuable feedback, valuable comments. If you love this, please mention your word of appreciation, share it with others. Please join this initiative for subsequent lecture. So how the classes will be done in subsequent weeks, the schedule will be available call in the Edukemy for any assistance. This is all from my side. If you have any doubt, please ask. I'm taking a minute, or otherwise I will close the session. Anything you want to ask?
Okay, then good night. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Okay, bye. Thank you. Thank you, Anami.